Welcome to Startalk with your hosts, Colin and Marty.
Hey, you don't look like Colin. You don't look like Colin. What happened?
Yeah, where is Colin? Where'd he go?
Where's Waldo? Same place as Colin. But anyways, welcome everybody. Great to see you there. We don't usually see you there. You're the man behind the scenes that really makes it happen and goes so well. But for those of you who don't know Garnet, he's like really high up in Starwire. He's the GOAT's innovator. He's the guy that came up with the idea and made it happen. And he's going to talk about that a little later in the show. Colin's going to come back. We're going to have a chat there. We've got an unbelievable guest. Due to different difficulties last week, we were unable to get him on our scheduled show then. But he's here.
He's a busy guy.
Tonight. Very busy man. And we're going to get him on. But, you know, it's one of these nights where there's a bunch of people that we want to acknowledge, and we will, and tell us some stories and have some fun. But as I said in my earlier broadcast with you folks and listeners, and I've gotten into small. So we're doing a thing with Starwire, and it's Elvis the Pig. Well, I found an Elvis DJ for the show. He's the guy that could bring
close up of that.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at there.
Oh,
he is.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's
singing pig.
Yeah, he's the singing pig, and he wants to audition for Elvis the movie, but I got to clear it with Garnet and some other people. So he's gonna take a bow and he's gonna bail. Next, Garnet and I were talking about goats, none other than goats. And of course, Garnet's going to have a special announcement about some very, very valuable limited edition goats that you people really want to get. You really got to get these because there's so much going on there. When he tells me about it, I want them all, but you can't have them all. So he's going to offer them up, and you're going to have to auction, and you're going to have to pay for them with your token and this and that. So, you know, he's got it all figured out, folks. It's a win-win-win. So anyways, I brought another friend in. This is like a toy goat, and he actually makes a goat sound.
His goat scream.
Yeah, Jason Mills would like that. That's a goat scream. But I outdid myself this time. I happened to be working and volunteering today, and we were shooting our episode for the new Discovery series, whereby it's called Picking for Pets, and we're pickers, and we go through lockers and we go through donations and everything, and we take out all the valuable stuff and we sell it. And a big shout out to Karen, who's called Mom, Amy, all the volunteers there and that. I have to put that in there. They're great people, and it's resulted in a documentary, 8 one-hour episodes, and we were just told today by the producer, June, July 2nd series. So just going along with nostalgia, this guy came along. Now, he says it's hard to be nostalgic when you can't remember anything. How can you be nostalgic? But in addition, I didn't know that he sings. So he's going to make his premiere on our show tonight.
When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine? Birthday greetings, bottle of wine. If I've been out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Send me a postcard, drop me a line, stating point of view.
Who's singing that?
I was going to tell everybody it's Paul McCartney, but I don't want a lawsuit. It's definitely not McCartney. I don't know.
It could be
when I'm 64.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Yay! Thanks, Paul. We really appreciate it. Take a bow. Good night, all. Okay, he's gone. Now, yeah, I've got about 50 of those guys. I could do a band, rock and roll band. You know, I saw an interesting thing because you're one of these high tech camera guys and photographers. I saw this article on a kid that does nostalgia, old cars, barns, everything. He sets them up on a little table or on the ground, scale, little weeny toys, little toy buildings, and he shoots them. And it's the most unbelievable thing. He's just amazing. He's got a site. So I think at some point I'm going to reach out to him.
Is he in Vancouver or not?
No, he's in America. But
Okay.
we'll find him. I bookmarked it. I'll find him. And he's young, and that's what we need in Starwire. We need young minds and investors.
Yeah, Jason Mills would probably want to connect with him because he's shooting his next horror film. He's using miniatures for some of the exterior scenes.
Yeah,
and
if he wants miniatures,
a special lens. Yeah.
Yeah, if he wants miniatures, I have hundreds of them.
Oh, really?
Macabre, skeletons, tombstones, coffins. Oh yeah, Master of Macabre. I have some serious.
Do you have some houses and things like that, and
yeah, little mansion kind of things, and like crematorium thing, and a couple other things. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. You and I'll talk. We'll plug in, go for lunch. Anyways, we're getting carried away with all our Startalk projects that we're doing. We're just so busy with movies and everything. But the most important one is the goats, and we're gonna get to that. And I'm just gonna run through a few more.
Hey, and you've been busy this week shooting your TV series, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, phenomenal. I mean, there's so much you got to do: the ins, the outs, the intros, the extras. I've been fooling around again on a small scale, and I'm not going to bore everybody with nothing of value. Everything's of value, but of greater value. Anyways, I came across a 45 by Gene and the Strangers called Miss New Love on Fireside Records. This book's for $127 US.
Oh, and who's the artist?
It's called Gene and the Strangers.
Yeah.
Then I know you'll like this one. Our fans will like this one, and Colin would love this one too, but we've got it on film anyways. Here's a cover by a band called The Leaves of Hendrix' Hey Joe.
Who's that?
Well, The Leaves are, to me, I'm not up on The Leaves, but Hendrix, of course, everybody knows Jimi Hendrix, and we all loved Hey Joe. That was one of the Hendrix songs. So for The Leaves to cover it, I thought it was an interesting thing. Then,
hey, and there's also an interesting, you said Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
There's an interesting point about Jimi Hendrix and Little Richard, which we will ask our guest.
We'll venture into that, and we'll talk to Garry. You're right. Here's something that's just local stuff. It's by a band called the Northwest Company here. It's sought after. There's only a couple singles around in this band. It's a 20 bucker from '67. But one that blew my mind, when I do these searches, it tells you how many people have it, how many people want it, what it sold for, how recently it sold, and the highest price it ever sold for. So this one is one of my gems. This is we're getting higher. We're going up like the cost of goats and watching things grow and expand. This record is called Don't Look Back by a band called The Remains. It's called Garage Rock, and this is from '66. The lowest this ever sold for was 125. The most it's ever sold for is 295. Now, the interesting stat on this,
where do you get those prices from?
Oh, I have a web search with a company that has a database second to none, and they tell you everything. It's my whole research on everything. And then I go out of there and I go to eBay current. Then I go to eBay sold and eBay listed, and I evaluate and I come in under. So when you come in under, everything's going to sell.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you compare the vinyl collectibles to these new NFTs.
Correct.
We, you know, also that's kind of what's cool about NFTs is you have an up to the second record of what the last price that particular NFT and that rarity sold at. So you don't have to kind of go searching through because you always know the whole history of that particular, you know, if it was a specific record, you know, can you imagine knowing each LP, being able to search who originally bought it, how many hands it was
who
passed
originally
through?
bought it would be phenomenal, but I think knowledge in any field is valuable, and hands-on is even better. Practicality, you know, like owning a goat, being able to have it physically in your hand, a token, versus on paper, versus buying something with it. You know, it's a new way of it's a new modern way of doing business.
Yeah.
And what you've come up with just blew my mind when you showed me goats and rocking goats and hats. And I mean, the amount of work and effort you put in with your artist team and that, I mean, this is going to be good. I mean, the Bees family, unbelievable. Richie and everybody and Dora and all those people, phenomenal people. And they're the kind of people that make you want to go more, you know, go for the jugular, go out of there.
I guess, yeah, like my point is just like all the skills that you have as a traditional collector, those same skills sort of translate over to the new NFT collections.
Correct.
Just in, you know, I find that really interesting. You're able to find the latest price of that particular vinyl album.
Yeah, the current. Yeah. But more important to me, to a collector, is how many have versus how many want. Now, the ironic part of this one, and I'll say it again, when you look, they say, thanks for Philip there. He says he needs some NFTs of Marty's journey in life. Well,
absolutely.
Talking to the guy. Garnet's the guy that can do that, and we'll put you down for 100 million copies right now. And we'll get you in at a bottom price, guaranteed. We'll whitelist you right now. Anyways, the bottom line, if I hadn't mentioned it, I'm going to re-mention it. The Remains, the band. 18 people own this.
Yeah.
Take a guess how many people want it.
Probably over 1,000.
No, 601.
Wow.
601 people want this, and it goes from 125 to 295. So nice. If I came in at 150, 160 on this, it's gone in 2 seconds, but I have to find one of the 601. That's why with the collectibles Startalk collectible store, which we're going to be featuring, items such as this will be available and can be purchased with the goats.
Yeah.
And they can come in there and
imagine if you guys who are holding those records could communicate with each other and you guys say, you know what, let's set the floor price at $500 or $1,000.
I've got a lot of collectors with 1 million pieces. Reach out, I'll be there. You know, you and I can contact these people. It's a phone call away. Let's put it that way. We're a dying breed, but we have a big herd, just like the goats. We're big. We got lots of stuff, and we got to get it out.
That may be, you know, some kind of little innovation. Just us thinking on the fly here is a tool to unite all the vinyl collectors
Oh,
who
sure.
are holders
I
as
agree.
a way for them to sort of manage their pricing. Because once
And
you
communicate and resell through Starwire. Starwire will handle your collection. We'll appraise it, we'll evaluate it, we'll list it, and we'll get top dollar. We'll do a online vinyl auction.
nice, I
And
like it.
all the GOATS buyers can have VIP, and they can have first look at everything in the VIP.
Goats get
put
the status. Yep.
advance bids in, and they can be assured at least that if they're fair, they got a chance of getting it. But once it opens up to the public, the sky's the limit, and it's all going to come back into Starwire for more projects and bringing more people on board that have knowledge, and these chats that we go on and these community things with you and Dora. This last week, it's just been a totally enlightenment to me. It's just totally enlightened me.
Oh, hey, you said you were also at a vinyl show.
Yeah, I'm upcoming. I've got
Okay.
upcoming. I was at a previous vinyl show and comic show 2 weeks ago with a very good friend of mine. And to prove what we're all saying, this guy had 2 record stores, knows his stuff like the back of his hand, and he brought 8 boxes. And these things weren't $2 or $1.50. These were $20, $30, $50, $10 albums minimum. And he walked out and sold 2 complete giant moving boxes of records. And he pulled in, like, just for the sake of discussion, just from the vinyl alone, $1,500.
Wow.
Now that blew me away. And one guy bought $600 worth.
Wow.
And he walked away with a little stack. But he was ecstatic. He hadn't seen it anywhere before, rare. So I'm following suit this coming Saturday with a very good friend of mine at the Terminal Flea Market in the back. They have an area, multiple tables, and we're going to have a record show like you're not going to believe. And I'm going to be there. Good friends of mine are going to be there. And that would be where you should be. And we can sign up all these guys in the same room. We don't have to seek them out. There's like 200 tables. And we can go from table to table and, hi, do you want to be a part of this? What's this and that? Do a little backstory on each one of them. You could film them, take a shot of their collectibles, and we can sign them up to Starwire immediately.
Oh, yeah, we'd maybe bring a TV and we can have the goats being displayed on
that would be great.
Big LCD screen.
Live goats. I've got to talk to the owner. You and I will talk about it before next week. Neither here nor there. The following week, toy show, giant toy show. I'm involved in that. I've got 4 tables. The rarest toys you've ever seen, still mint in the box and that from 15, 20 years ago. Unpriced, right? They weren't priced because they were in my collection, my own personal collection. I started to look these things up. Again, I do this search for sealed models. I'll tell you what. Sealed models is the equivalent to an Archer goat.
Oh, yeah.
They're so rare, you can't find. I mean, you can find them.
Like, you mean models as in like cars and tanks?
That the kids built. There used to be community clubs that had people go in and teach them how to build cars, how to detail them, how to paint them, and that. I've got hundreds and hundreds of them. But the bottom line is they're all kits, unbuilt. And when you look at them online, the stuff that nobody can acknowledge or not really brand names doesn't draw a crowd. But if you've got Chevys, Fords, Lincolns, you've got race cars, you've got name product, you've got endorsed models through the roof. I couldn't believe the prices. Here I was prepared, you can have it for $15. I look it up, it's $150. I said, wait a second.
Yeah.
Whoa. And mine's sealed? And I've seen them for 10 or 15 unsealed. So automatically, when I looked at that, I took it and I'm fair. Half, 50%, $75, it's yours. But I've got to find that $75 guy. But I think we've got a really good guest right now, and I think we kept him waiting.
Absolutely.
He's super. He's a very, very old friend of mine.
Do we want to play the video before we bring him up? Or what?
I think we should show the folks a little bit about what you're going to experience live. Show them what we got.
Wrong one. Not Taylor Swift.
There it is. Baby, you got it. There, open it up.
And this was in where was this?
Vancouver. This was
Vancouver.
At the casino. You have to excuse the audio on this because it's not a proper feed for the television purposes. But it's a horn section, a full band. Colin was the musical director. He's off to the left here of the bassist, the drummer. There's a sax player and a lead guitar player to the right. But if the people don't know by now who that is, shame on you. So we're going to bring in to the studio right now live none other than Garry Moore, and the man who does the tribute to Little Richard.
Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey Garnet.
Good to see you. Good to see
you guys, man.
Yeah, man. What a show. What a show.
I missed that. With COVID and everything, we haven't done that in a few years.
Yeah, but we're going to do it. We were talking earlier backstage, you and I, about putting some together, do a little bit in America. I got some interest in you in America, and we're going to talk about it. I mean, whether it's through your agent or you and I work something out, it'll work out. And you go do it because you are the best. And I had the pleasure of working with Little Richard live and shows, and you've met the man. And so tell us a little bit about how you got started and how you took this character on, and where you've been. I know you've been around a long time, my friend.
Yeah. I started out after I got out of the Army back in 88, 89. I hooked up with this producer lady that brought some shows from Vegas to Hawaii, because my last duty station was here in Hawaii, and so I got the opportunity to work as a cast manager for this lady, and we brought impersonators from Vegas. So I got to know a lot of different characters. Became good friends with Tony Roy, who was an Elvis impersonator at that time, and he said, "Hey man, why don't you do some backup vocals for me, man? Come on." And I was like, I would sing in the car with him. And I decided, it was easy. It wasn't that hard to sing backup vocals,
No.
Like, Suspicious Minds and stuff. So I did that, and then we were done with the gig, and he had a spot on remember Jerry Lewis Telethon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So he had to do a show like 30 minutes, and he said, "Jerry, why don't you do that Little Richard thing like you did at the house?" And I said, "Shut up, man! I don't want to do it." And he said, "No, it's for Jerry's kids, and it's it's charity. You're not gonna get paid. We're not gonna get paid for this." So I said, "But dude, I've never done it." And so he said, "I'll help you." We got Mama's wig, and I just got out of the Army. I didn't have no hair at that time.
No, right?
Yeah, so he got Mama's wig, and I had like maybe like a month. I would say like 4 or 5 weeks, and did a couple songs with him on the Jerry Lewis Telethon.
Wow.
Yeah, and the next thing I knew, we got a producer saw us, and we was in Aruba for 6 months.
Wow.
It just started. And then it never stopped until it just still today.
Well, I know that for a fact because for all our listeners and viewers, you try and get hold of this man, and get him on your stage, it'd take you about 3 to 6 months to get a booking because he's so busy. He's sending me, I'm from here, I'm from there. He's one of the best social media guys and interaction guys there is. He knows how to strut his stuff. And I've seen some of his productions elsewhere in America with girls and big band and that. It just blows me away. On this side of the border with Garry, we sort of do it the old way with a 4 or 5 piece band. We put a sax man in there, and then sometimes we have the luxury of horns. Sometimes we don't. But this man never fails to deliver in, I don't want to use the word because we all know what it is, in SPADES. I never said it. Never heard it from me.
Yes. Say it, Marty.
We love him. We love him. This man is the salt of the earth, such a talent, and we miss him. And every tour we went out on, we had laughs. We went out for food. We did unbelievable stuff. We met so many people in the meet and greet. And Garry was always one of the crowd favorites. He'd go down the crowd and entertain the front row and serenade the ladies and everything. So this man is a pro, and I feel so happy. I mean, we've done interviews with him on the.
You're gonna make me cry, Marty.
Oh, please don't cry. Anyway, we've done interviews with you on Let's Talk Rock with Colin and Marty, but this is such a treat being able to harness you down, because it's like a couple of weeks ago, I'm here, I'm there, I'm coming, I can't, give me that, I need that, and we're always juggling and sideswiping each other. Finally, now we got you. And yeah, tell us more. I mean, let me ask you this. This would be a good one. For our listeners and that. In your opinion, as a Little Richard tribute artist, one of the top rung guy, the guy, what is your favorite song of Little?
My favorite song, I guess it's Tutti Frutti. I would, yeah. I like Lucille, but I think for some reason Tutti Frutti is kind of like my favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of times we had the pleasure of hearing you sing "Send Me Some Lovin'," which was a slow ballad,
right?
Which you did. But I mean, when you do, Boney Maroney and stuff like that, it's like I'm transported back to my youth, like I'm standing at the side of the stage watching you and saying, my goodness, this is like reborn again, especially now with Richard's passing, rest his soul, and you having worked with him and endorsement and talking and chatting and me and everything. So it's just such a magic to have an artist like you here with us, and you doing what you're doing, man, because. And I always told Garry, we were joking around. We always had fun in that. And Garnet and I were in the green room with him. And Gary's wearing this great shirt here, and it says Red Sox on it. So I said to him, listen, if you're ever stuck for an opening act, you add another D, and you take the S away, and you put F there, and you can be Red Sox, and you can open for yourself. That would be a first. Garry Moore opened for himself.
Yeah. Well, it's good that I get to talk to you, Marty, about Red Fox, because it's like the younger generation, they don't know about Red.
No, they don't know about Red, and I'll tell you something. Here's the thing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to say it. I didn't say the SPADES live, but I'm going to say this, and if Garnet bleeps me, so be it. One of the funniest jokes that I ever heard from Red Fox was, I'm the only guy I know that can fall in to a barrel of tits and come out sucking my thumb.
What?
That's it. He did that on a live show. He brought the house down.
That one's getting bleeped, Marty.
Okay, bleep it. You can bleep it. Hey, it's like McLean and McLean. They've got all sorts of stuff. And they went everywhere. It was like banned. But I mean, you can say that word. That's not an obscene word. Yeah, that's not an obscene word, Garnet. You're the producer. You're outvoted. Gary and I say it. If Red Fox was here and Little Richard were here, they'd say
This
say
whole
it.
section, hey, for those of you in the studio audience,
Yeah.
you guys are the only guys that will ever hear this.
Right.
That's true. Garnet's going to bleep it before it goes on
Bleep it
air,
out.
which is fine.
But you can't say thumb, Marty. That's tit.
No.
You can titties, but no tongue.
No, Tom. Don't say Tom. No, Tom. You're out of here. You're out of here, man. Get out of here. But anyways, we have a lot of fun. This is what it's like being on the road. When you got guys like this, Garnet, and there's 3 or 4 of us, and we reminisce and we joke around and we go into places and we come out of places and we interact and we're on the tour bus or we're on the airplane or we're backstage.
Tell me, Gary, the kind of, I don't know, the most challenging where everything went wrong and then maybe another day where everything went right.
Garnet, I'll tell. I think Marty knows, but I never really got to talk too much about the story of Marty, because Marty can tell you stories no matter when you pick us up at the hotel, Marty, or that the drive might be an hour away. Yeah. There was one time in particular, I remember we were doing this. I don't know if it was at the beginning of the tour or towards the end. I think it might have been towards the end. We were at the hotel, and I think Marty was just, because he was coming and going. He's the first one there, and he's the last one home. And that was a lot of respect to you, Marty, because I never had to worry. I was like, we're gonna get there, we're gonna do it, we're gonna get back. I'm gonna have my beer and the Imo bar, and I can get my rest. But there was one time Marty came to the hotel, pick us up, and there was, I won't say his name, but one person wasn't there in the group.
Yeah. And
Marty went off like, what the? Where is he? And there's like, we have like 3 or 4 different acts in the tour van or bus that we're in, right? And you were like, going off, and we didn't know because we never saw him.
No, of course not.
And you were just, oh my God! I laughed because I was just like, I'm ready to go.
You're there. When you're there, you're okay.
Yeah, but you were just okay. It was funny to see you, Marty. You were just.
You know what? It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
And you'll appreciate. Thank you, Key World Management, the most interesting man in the world. How kind. I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Similar. When we did the Dirty Dancing tour, we had the contours.
Oh.
Do You Love Me on the, and this will be a brief story, Garnet, for our listeners and Gary. And every day, one of the singers in the contours was late, always late. He'd always say to me at the end of the night, Marty, put a wake-up call in for me. I got to get up, have a shower, do my thing, be ready for the bus. I said, no problem, my friend. Did it. Come morning, no guy. We're checked up. We're done. Ring the room, nothing. Phone off the hook. Up with the security. People, like you say, sitting on a bus, the contours. Everybody, bus driver, ready to go downtown New York. You can't stay there. They tow you away. 2 seconds later, they boot the bus or they hook it up with a truck, and you'll be sitting in a compound in the New York police garage with the whole entourage and the band. You're not allowed to park buses or vehicles in the city of New York. You have to. You've got to go across the Secaucus. You can't stay in New York proper. Anyways, the long and the short of it is, not to mention any names, Charles. He may or may not be with the group anymore. He may not be with the group after I tell the story. But anyways, the bottom line is this. I tell him, Charles, this is your last chance. If you don't make it down, you're hooped. So I had to go up, security man, open the door, and he's not even ready. And he said, give me another 15 minutes, okay? And I said, we got no 15 minutes. We got to get through the toll, and we got to go through the interstate, and time is of essence. Time zones. Charles, this can't happen. So he says to me, well, help me out. Stall everybody off. I said, look, okay, I'll give you 15. If you're not down in 15, don't worry about your room. Don't worry about your charges. Don't worry, everybody's paid. I said, how many bags you got? He said, I got a duffel bag and this big bag. I said, let me help you out in the bag. I take the big bag, take it down, get it on the bus. I said, now all you got is duffel bag, a little hair carry bag, and yourself. I said, 15 minutes. Okay, well, the rule of thumb in touring is that if it's an 8 o'clock departure, you give a window to 8:15, bus rolls away. Well, same scenario here. I tell them, if you're not down, we're down.
Right.
So you got to picture this. I'm standing in the bus well, the bus driver, no Charles. So I says, listen, you got to go. Can't leave the man. You can't leave me. I says, I'm leaving the man. Let's go. We start driving out. We get out. We're about 3 bus lengths from the hotel. I look in the side mirror of the bus. Here he is. Out the door, the revolving door, just like it spins him out.
Uh-huh.
Out onto the sidewalk. Looks one way, no bus. Look the other way. Right out into the street. Running after the bus.
Trying to get you.
The bus driver, stop the bus. Stop the bus. Because he's going to exhaust himself running 3 blocks.
Right.
City blocks in New York. He comes up huffing and puffing and that. And I open the door and I says, time is it? Oh, sorry about that. Comes on, huffing, puffing, sit down with the band, everybody ribbing him, and that. That's a bus story.
Yeah.
With the contours.
Wow. Great.
Joe Walsh wouldn't mind either. Yeah, that's right.
That's great.
So Little Richard, you met the man. How did that go? Because he's quite an interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I was working in Las Vegas. I want to say it was in the mid '90s, and I had a day off, and he had a gig down in Laughlin, which was like what, hour and a half drive from Vegas.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, so I drive down there on my day off and go see him, and got the opportunity to go backstage and see him.
Cool.
Yeah, and it was our first meeting, so he was, he saw me like this. I probably had a hat on and whatever, but he was cordial because he kind of got info what I did, first meeting him, but he wasn't really a warm person. And because I'm thinking in his mind, he was thinking, oh, here's another one trying to be like me, steal from me.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Yeah. So it was just it was kind of a quick meeting, and was kind of I tell people about what I did, and he got pissed off, I think, because I brought an album with me for him to sign.
Sure,
and
of course you did.
when he looked at the album, he said, I can't sign this.
No, I can.
This is a bootleg album.
Ooh, that's embarrassing when you got bootlegs.
Yeah, he was, and I went, I didn't know. I just grabbed an album from somewhere in Vegas.
That's how you pick it up. Yeah.
So he looked at it. He goes, oh my God, hey, Junior, look at this. Do you remember this picture? Because it was like the double album with the
the gatefold.
Yeah, so he was looking at it, and he just says, oh my God, I remember that. But then when he closed it, he gave it to me, and he just turned away. And then I'm sitting there and then I get the tap on the shoulder by these 2 bodyguards,
assistants.
Yeah, and they just went like, you're done.
Yeah, you're done. That's
Let's
right.
go.
That's how it has to be.
Okay.
You'd be there. I mean, no disrespect to Garry or anybody that goes backstage to meet anybody, but you get carried away. You're infatuated. You're there. You're engaged in conversation. You're chatting. He's there, and then all of a sudden the time's gone, and there's 49 other people down the hall yelling, "We want to get in there!" and all. Yeah. It's like crowd control. So that's why we do the meet and greets out front with Garry, and he signs pictures and CDs and talks the folks up. And there's certain stops where we show up, and women actually come after the show with a box of Nanaimo bars for him in Nanaimo. And of course, he takes them back to the hotel, and he shares them with us, of course. And if we're doing 2 nights, they come the next show and they bring another more for you.
Why Nanaimo bars?
Well, it was just a treat that he came upon. I think Garry came upon it on a ferry ride. It was introduced on the ferry or whatever, and then we ended up in Nanaimo, and he said something off the stage. I love Nanaimo bars, or I had Nanaimo bars, and lo and behold, these women bring Nanaimo bars for Garry. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, he's in town. They don't know who he is. And he says one word, I love Nanaimo, but we were inundated with Nanaimo bars.
Yeah. It got too much after a while. I was like,
yeah, it did. It got really crazy. Now, Garnet, switch Garry over. I want to show Garry something. I want to show the audience something that I'm going to ask Garry if he's ever seen this. He probably has. But I get that out of there. Get me in. Get Garry. Get the video out of there.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So, anyways, Garry.
Yeah.
Next year, when we go out with you, I'm gonna sort of take this as the way of presenting you. But I want to know if you've ever seen this before, and then we'll get into that. Have you ever seen this before?
Yeah, I sure have.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Little Richard is back on VJ with the hands. That reminded me of you just 5 minutes ago when you put your hands up and everything. But what I want to do with you next year in 2023 is Little Richard is back, because you haven't been for so long with us.
Yeah.
But I want to reintroduce that you're back and have the band with the sax player Johnny and the same guys Colin and everything. And then we'll see if we can. I've got a couple of guys that may take the whole band, but we need you. So if I can work it, I can have one band in Canada and then maybe get them into America. But if not, we can talk about it.
Okay.
The only other thing I wanted to ask you is, of course, this is another one on Specialty Original. You've seen this many times over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Grooviest hits.
Groovin' in Hollywood. Remember? Groovin' in Hollywood. That's my soul. But on the back, I used to love these because they had other albums by the artist on there with Little Richard as a young man. So this type of stuff, what you're doing to me and for me and others like me, is turning back the hands of time. Yep. And when you do it well. And everybody, I have never, in all the years, which is 6 to 8 years of utilizing your services with us on this side of the border, ever heard a bad word. Everybody has said, diamond in the rough, beautiful, beautiful man. And they love you, Garry, and I love you, and we all love you. You're a great man. Don't cry.
Hey, I had this question.
No, sorry, no more question.
I was reading about just kind of strange facts about Little Richard, and it said that he married Bruce Willis and Demi Moore.
Yeah,
so was he a pastor or something?
Yeah. He got that. He's like a reverend, or not reverend.
Yeah, reverend. That's right. Gary's right. Reverend.
He married them. I think he married a couple. I want to say it was another couple that kind of famous too. I wish I could remember, but there was a time period that he did. Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. Is that?
Yeah.
But
Garnet, Gary's right, because when he went out of the rock and roll phase and then went into the religious phase and then recorded gospel stuff and that, and then when he entered the marketplace, he came in with Great Gosh Almighty, which was similar to religion and that, but it got him going. And then once it got him going, he started to tour again, but he never, ever went back to the roots for a long, long time. He just stayed in this, sort of down and out Hollywood kind of scene. And I remember way back in 1993, I had the pleasure, just like Garry, of meeting him and everything, but I produced a show for a fundraiser with the radio stations and the TV and that, and he was the guy. 2,500 seats sold out at $125 a ticket. and standing room only people yelling and screaming, non-televised. And he comes out. And of course, you know, he struts his stuff and he's got this piano and he's got the effects and the band is unbelievable. I mean, the horn, like there's 44 people in the entourage and there's only 6 people on stage.
Yeah.
What are the other people doing?
Right.
Nothing. But they're there.
Right.
Surrounded. They surround him. Every which way he goes. Door opens, door closes. There's somebody there. Anyways, Red Robinson, myself, we do an interview with him. We chat with him. We get some stuff signed up. Posters, this, that, the next thing. Show's going along great. He said, I got a special gift for each and every one of you. And he has somebody wheel out a cart. And on the cart are miniature Bibles.
Right.
Miniature Bibles.
Yeah.
And he says to the guy, now you go down there, and you go down there, and you distribute these out to all these fine folks. And they're handing them and going, and people are buying them. You know, not buying them, I mean giving away. And then the lobby, he's got bigger ones, and they're out there, and I'm going, okay, it's nothing to do with me. And the show is slated for 75 minutes. He does about 60 minutes, and it's done. He's done. He's finished. Hasn't done any rock and roll at all. So he comes off, and his manager's standing beside him at the curtain. I'm standing there with the promoter. The promoter goes like this. He says, what are you doing? He says, I paid for 75 minutes. He's only done 60. I said, what do you want the man to do? Go out and do the set over again? I says, he can't do it. I said, he's an older man. He says, that's not what I understood. I said, well, what did you understand? He says, I want to hear Tutti Frutti, like you said, all these different songs. Girl Can't Help It, whatever. Boney Maroney, everything.
So Marty, he was doing all the gospels, church stuff,
Correct.
right?
The whole gospel show and end with Great Gosh Almighty. Right. Here's my new song. Everybody, yay! Not expecting, and then they go crazy. Hasn't done any rock and roll, like you say, Gary. So the bottom line, I say to the manager, get the band leaders right over here. I said, they're standing ovation. I says, we can kill a couple minutes over there. I says, you're fine with that? The promoter, oh yeah, let them clap, but he's got to go out. I'm not going to pay him, and you're not getting your money. And I said, well, let's calm down. We'll talk about that. Let's get the act out. Not in front of the act. Anyways, the band leader comes to me, and I says to him, question. Do you know the Little Richard catalog? Do we know the Little Richard catalog? He says, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. He doesn't do it. If I say to him, we should do it, he doesn't respond. So I said, how about this? You tell him very nicely, with respect, we would like him to do it. The crowd would like him to do it. Most importantly, the promoter who has his check, which you guys are included on, will not be paying you. What? I said, right. Carry on. He goes, talks to the manager. Manager talks to Richard. Well, all right, okay, yeah, sure. Let's go. He goes out, sits down, and it's like a box on the side that takes it from, like you say, all that organ and gospel into the rock and roll, like MIDI, whatever is there, tracks, whatever's going on. But he's definitely live. So he says, I don't know what you think was going on back there, but I realized one thing. I forgot to play all my hits. And people light up. I mean, people are putting their coats on, getting ready to start flock out the aisle. And he says, everybody sit down? Everybody all right? And every song, like I think he did Without a Word of a Lie. I'll just use this as a point of reference, the 17 greatest. He did Long Tall Sally, Send Me Some Lovin', Good Golly Miss Molly, Jenny, Slippin' and a Slidin', Tutti Frutti, Lucille, Oh My Soul, Heebie Jeebie, and Rip It Up.
What?
That's what he did. and he did some of them a minute and a half, and he did like Garry does sometimes a medley where he does a verse and a half and a little bit of playing into another one. You may remember this because he's at the piano, and anything it's all in the same range kind of thing, as Garry can attest. The songs don't vary that much unless you slow them down, and Garry is up tempo all the way. But yeah, it was totally amazing. And at the end, the manager Richard comes off, and he goes, "Richard, you're the greatest. You're unbelievable." And Richard looks at him, and he says, "I know that." And the manager, I says, "Excuse me, gentlemen, downstairs, dressing room, show's over, crowd, let's go, building empty. You make sure you go out and make an announcement." He says, "I got a free gift for everybody out the lobby." He says, "You can make that announcement?" I said, "I can't make it, but I said, I'll get a house man to make it." And we did. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this evening performance. Little Richard wants to thank you. God bless you all. And there's a special gift waiting for you in the lobby, which was a larger size. So you got a mini Bible, and then you got a full-size Bible. And he walked away with a piece of Richard in the religious state that he was in at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect, but in the latter years, he came back, and as Garry can attest, this guy sold his whole catalog for $125.
Mm-hmm.
What?
He was a dishwasher in Macon, Georgia, and I have an album that they did, him, Chuck Berry, and I think it was Fats Domino, and it's documentary audio only, pressed on vinyl, and one of them, there's 3 records, one of them is Little Richard, and it tells the whole thing of his transition and into specialty and Larry Williams, because little do they know that Larry Williams wrote some of the biggest Little Richard songs in the history of rock and roll, which Garry can attest to. Now, Larry Williams was in Little Richard's band, and he wailed like you couldn't beat a horn section, as Garry can tell you. If you got one sax player or 101 orchestration, this man or a man such as Little Richard just blow you away. You don't know which way to go. The whole place is shaking and rocking when you got a guy like Garry out there.
What? Who ended up with his catalog of songs?
That's a very good question. That part I didn't research. I don't know either. That would be a good search. Who owns Little Richard's publishing? That would be a good one.
Yeah.
I know that Specialty pressed the records for years and years and years. VJ did it in England because he was big over there. But it's amazing how you undertook that character and you've lived that character for now. It's gotta be 30 years.
Yeah, it's a little over 30 years now. I don't know if you want to count COVID, but
Yeah, but I mean, minus two.
Yeah,
28 and counting.
Yeah.
But for the sake of discussion for all our viewers and everything, I mean, now that the man has passed, your validity doing what you're doing is so meaningful. Not that it wasn't meaningful then, but it's like it's a reinvention of the man himself through you. And you're portraying this most unbelievable guy who everybody loved. And there isn't a thing, like whether it's the hair, whether it's the outfits, whether it's the personality, getting the song across. And God only knows, I've witnessed it many times in rehearsal, with just a microphone, when this man gets warmed up after eating 45 Nanaimo bars, look up. He's got so much sugar, he'll sing From Now into the High Heavens. Swing low, sweet chariot. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. And we're going to do something.
Yeah. I hope so soon. You know, I'm working on a few things now here in the States. Even just this morning, Florida has been kind of opening up. Florida has been kind of a spot that, you know, my people, the older crowd.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of venues there that's what I'm hearing. So
Oh yeah.
I'm supposed to be going back there in June. Didn't get the contract yet, but it was just verbal. I said, yeah. Okay, I'm there.
Well, some of them that I want to discuss at a later date, basically with you, would be up close and intimate. 200, 300 seater, where the state of the art sound, state of the art light, state of the art band, and you up front. I think you'll blow these people out. It's a 2-night thing. It'll sell. I mean, it's nothing for a man like yourself to sell out 500 tickets. But I think we could look at some of those midweek, because everybody wants you on the weekends. But there are some pick-me-uppers during the week. And if it's not too much for you, I mean, I want to leave some room to get from A to B, and we're all getting on in years.
Hey, Marty, we're coming to the end of the hour.
You didn't speak.
And we do need to. The time went by.
You speak.
6 minutes just blew by.
You speak. You need him to speak.
So look at, part of your story, Garry, has been, honoring this great, one of the legends. And, the project we've been working on was called The Goats, the greatest of all time. And so, we get inspired the same way you inspire your audiences. Our community has been inspired by the great ones, the musical greats, the movie greats, the sports greats. And so we created these sort of cartoon characters called the Goats. And part of, being part of this Goat Club, we're trying to attract creators, people innovating in the entertainment space, doing things that haven't been done before. And, part of hearing the story of Little Richard selling his catalog for $150, that's not something the music industry should be proud of, because the industry should have taken care of a lot of the great ones who, basically set the foundation for, the young people coming up today. Everyone's music has been influenced in some way from those first blues, rock and roll bands in the early days. Have been influenced music throughout history. And we're on the verge of, launching our community. I'm going to bring Dora up because she's part of our marketing team.
Hi, Dora.
Welcome, Dora.
Hi, Dora.
Unmute.
Hi, guys.
Hey, baby.
Good to see you.
Previous to tonight, Dora's been on Twitter Spaces every night.
That's Dora the Explorer.
Yes. Oh, Marty, you were going to show something tonight.
Oh, I'm going to show it right now. I got it.
Okay, we better get a...
I never
Talking about Dora the Explorer.
Right, this is for Dora. It's a special gift.
That's her.
That's
me,
her.
Steve, in the hair.
That's her NFT right there. And it also has 2 bonus episodes on it, Dora.
There you go.
And she's such a good promoter. And as promised, here is Joan Baez in Spanish.
Oh my God.
There you go. Thank
There
you.
In Spanish, all the songs and that, because Dora communicates all over the world, Garry, and gets all sorts of pledges and people interested, and has these talk spaces. She's unbelievable, energy, powerful lady. I got involved in some conversations with her on her hosting and Garnet co-hosting and vice versa. Garnet hosting that during the week. Ever you want to, and you have time, and instead of watching all the baseball and watching all the football and having a real good life, maybe Garnet could send you a link to one of the talks. And I know that if a guy like you came on there and just as a listener, and they punches you in every so often as a speaker, that you'd be a very interesting individual to have on there.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dora, tell us about those spaces we've been having.
We can run over, Garnet. We can go as long as we want.
Yeah, well, these spaces are basically like like what we're doing here, but we
Mhm.
can't see each other. We just hear
Oh,
everyone's voice.
okay.
So you come in and there's people that we don't know. This call is open to anybody
Mhm.
that wants to participate about the conversation that we usually talk about films, and we talk about creators, people that are in the movie industry and
Mhm.
music, and so people come in, sometimes they sing, sometimes
That's
they
right.
they share about stories. Marty's always telling us stories, so it's a fun place to be. It's something we do usually every night on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter, you are invited. If you're
Oh.
not, you're invited still. Just
So
create your
if I'm
account.
not on Twitter, I won't be able to. I have to join Twitter.
You have to join Twitter. Yeah. They're called
Unfortunately, yeah.
Twitter Spaces. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you will be invited, to come any night you want to come and just share and be part of the conversation. It would be nice to have you.
Oh, I think it'd be great to have him. Yeah.
Okay. I will keep that in my notes here, I guess. And
Yeah, put it down in your
I'm
notes.
not. Yeah, I'm not on Twitter, so I guess I
No.
got to sign up for Twitter.
There we go. There's the band.
There's
goat
the
band.
all-star. These are the Goats band, and then these are kind of the some of the goats. We call them the mofo goats,
Oh.
and
Wiffle goats.
they're motivated and
Uh-huh.
they're focused on bringing new entertainment, new innovation, new collaborations to the entertainment
Right.
space.
Yeah.
And these are the filmmaking goats here. So they
Oh,
were acting out this little kung fu scene.
yeah.
Little
but-
there's the innovators.
Yeah, basically, we got two. This is what this collection was designed for: bringing together a creative group, right, to collaborate, to innovate. And part of the thing is, as these goats are sold, traded, we're working with different filmmakers, and we have a treasury fund. So the idea is when we have 5,000 goats, so each goat gets a vote in the kind of projects that they want to help, be involved with, or the ones that we release funding for. And we think it's going to be a pretty cool idea, as there's going to be countless projects brought to the community, and every person gets a unique goat, and their outfits, hairdos, and everything about them has usually been inspired by one of the greats, right?
Mhm.
So, and these guys go on sale very, very rapidly. It's going to be within the week, I'd say. So stay tuned.
Okay.
We don't have the mint date yet. Tomorrow could be the announcement of the mint date. But yeah, we're excited to see these guys launched and the birth, really, of a new community. Yeah, so it's going to be fun.
So, in answer to our question, while you were speaking, Garnet, Michael Jackson buys a music catalog that includes Little Richard's catalog, and he gifts it back to Little Richard.
Oh, wow.
So he bought it in a series of buys and gifts, and he gave it right back to him.
Wow.
He gave it right back to him
as a gift.
at no cost. And also, in the same little tidbit, in 1985, Michael Jackson owns the Beatles publishing. He paid $47 million for it. He outbid the Beatles. He outbid McCartney.
Yeah, Paul McCartney.
On his own stuff. Lennon and Yoko and George didn't really throw in, because I think had they thrown in with McCartney, they would have owned it. But I think John was into different things. This is my own personal opinion. I think
Mhm.
John was into personal doing his own thing, and with Yoko and stand alone. Harrison was already into his own thing, but McCartney, I think, wanted to keep that Beatles stuff within. But I mean, let's put it this way: let the bidding begin. $47 million later, you still don't own it. When are you going to stop? I mean, so Jackson ends up with it.
Mhm.
Oh, we got the hashtag tonight. We got to do the hashtag for the whitelist, don't we?
So we got Garry Moore. We're gonna give. I mean, almost everyone in our crowd tonight may potentially be whitelisted already.
That's
but
right.
you know what? Let's.
This is a short list for the NFTs.
Yeah. So let's go hashtag Garry Moore.
Absolutely.
In the comments there.
Yeah, here we go.
Thank you everybody for coming out tonight.
Totally.
It's been awesome. Stay tuned tomorrow. Just watch, our Twitter feed for. I think the website will be up tomorrow. The Mofo Goats new website.
Okay.
And yeah, it's gonna be a fun few days. We have the group down in South by Southwest. The filmmaking team is premiering their movie there tonight, and on Friday, Dolly Parton's gonna be at the premiere of Still Working 9 to 5.
Yeah, the new song. They came out with a new song. Gary may not know.
Yeah, we wish those guys. Yeah, it's you've got to hear that song, Gary. The new it's a Kelly Clarkson, Dolly Parton version of Working 9 to 5, and it's very.
They recut it.
Yeah, it's like the original one was upbeat country, and this new one is like soulful. It's kind of like an epic thing, honoring the working moms and stuff like that. Yeah, really tearjerker of a song. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I gotta write down that.
Let's do the Wheel of Fortune and get Gary's name.
All right, here we go. Who's it gonna be?
Fortune.
There's the draw for a whitelisting to buy a goat. Who's it gonna be? Donna Larson and her dog.
Oh,
Donna, what's your dog's name? You got to write it in the comments. We got to give a shout out to that dog.
Shout out to the dog. What's your dog's name?
She's not near the keyboard. Anyway.
The dog.
The dog's name?
Henry.
Garry Moore.
That's right. There we are.
Well, guys and girls, Dora, Dora the Explorer. It's been fun. It's been real.
Peace and love.
And Brody. Oh, is that the name of the dog? Yeah,
Brody,
the name of Donna the dog is Brody.
Okay, so you're gonna do the extra, my friend, and then we can talk to Gary for a minute because time's moving on.
Oh, maybe I'll play a little more of this Little Richard.
I don't know if you saw this, but Garnet played some footage of Gary entertaining here in Vancouver.
Oh, I want to play this sax solo with
play that with Johnny Ferreira.
Friend,
Definitely.
Johnny Ferreira. Here we go.
Yeah, good.
We got him
Hello, Johnny.
Johnny.
Oh. Yay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
God bless.
Wow.